Now let us begin. So we are now looking at the EOT, which is the end of term exam coverage. So we're going to try to do the revision before you guys start your exams. The first question talks about determining if the relationship is proportional by analyzing its graph. So here we are given the ordered pairs, which is the number of pumpkins, So let me just try to highlight some of the few things here as we move along. So here we have the number of pumpkins and the cost. So the first thing you do, you go straight to your number, to your graph here, or rather to your Cartesian plane. Here, we're going to start the first one, which is 0 is to 0. So I'm making a point here. And this is 1 is to 4. This is 1, and I'm plotting another one here. And I've got 2 is to 8, which is here. And I've got this one here. Now I'm here. 3 is to 12. So this is my 3, by the way. So make sure that you remain in between, you write those ones that are not there for you. And we've got 4 is to 16. This is 4 is to 16. So I will have it here. So you can see now I've plotted all these ordered pairs from 0 is to 1, 1 is to 4, and so on. So now I'm going to graph. So I'm going to use this color just to show you. And I will try my best to draw a straight line here. And then once you have done that, you can just join these points like this. Okay. So this is supposed to be my straight line. I'm not using a ruler. I was just using freehand, but this is what we are talking about. So because it starts from 0, so because the graph starts from 0, we can now say that here, so we can now say that the cost is proportional. Or rather, we can say now the cost is proportional to the number of pumpkins. So we can say that the cost is proportional. You know, to the number of pumpkins. Okay, because that's what they're talking about here. And why is that? It's sometimes we need to remember, we just should remind you that the reason this is proportional because it starts from 0, or from the origin. From the origin, which is this part here where 0 is. And it is a straight line. So this is very important, guys. Right? So the cost is proportional, right? It's proportional. These are key words here, is proportional. And again, something which is very important in this question is that it's, okay, I'm trying to get my pen here. Okay. And it starts from the origin and it is a straight line. So those three things, so if you can say, even if you just say to them it's proportional, the reason it starts from the origin and it's a straight line, and then you're done. Okay. So let's look at the next question. As I've said, I'm not going to do all the questions, but some of the questions, because it's the same thing, I will just try to do different questions as far as I can. Okay, now if we look at this one here, let's see. The table shows that the degrees in Celsius and their equivalent temperature in degrees. Again, it says determine whether the temperature in degrees is proportional. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're looking for. By what? By graphing. So we're going to graph. So you can see here when it's 0, let's start with the first point. When it is 0, it is somewhere 32. So my 32 is going to be here. When it is 5, my 5 is just somewhere here, right? It will be somewhere around here, just above 41. When it is 10, 10 is here, somewhere here in front of 8. So just gonna move up. It's gonna be 50. My 50 will be somewhere here. And when it's 15, 15 is will be somewhere here. It is 59, so just below 60 again, just below 60. When it is 20, the last one, it is 68. Okay, just somewhere around there. Then the next thing you do, you're going to join these. Let's use a different color. So you're going to join this. I'm trying to draw a straight line, guys. Please bear with me. Sometimes it's not. I don't know why it's not working, this one. Okay, it worked. Okay. All right, so let's try to join these points and then you join them together. Then you'll have something like this. So with this, here, the degrees Fahrenheit are not proportional. So you can say here, this one here is not proportional. I'll tell you why. Some of you maybe you do remember. So you can say here, this is not proportional. Remember, I'm talking about I'm just going to write df, degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, it's not proportional. And why? So we can say that it's not proportional because because you need to remember why. So we can say because the graph does not does not pass through 0 or through the origin. Okay, and also you can just say that yeah, I think that should do. Just say that it does not pass through the origin. That should be perfect. Okay, and we have another question here which is different from what we've just did, so we have to do this as well. The total cost of the online streaming is proportional to the number of lines. Here they are telling us that this is proportional. So now they are looking for, you don't need to tell them, you don't need, they're not asking us if it's proportional or not. They are telling us that it is proportional, but they want to know what is the constant of proportionality. In other words, what is the unit rate? What is the constant of proportionality, which is K, of course. So we can use the formula here to find K. You remember this formula, K equal to Y over X. Okay. And just so you remember here, the cost, because here we are comparing the cost and months. So the cost is your Y. So it's going to be cost over the month. So we're going to see now what is happening here. So we're going to start with the first one. So we can see here one is, so I'm just going to start with 1 point here, Y over X. So we can see that my Y here is 15. So it's 15 over 1. The answer is 15. Then I'm going to try another one, which is 30. Again, Y over X, which is 30. The month is 2, which is my X. Remember, my month here is represented by X. So, which is same as, again, 15 over 1. And we look at the next one here, another Y over X. We have another point here, which is 3. So here, 3 is to 45. So we can say 45 divided by 3 will give us another 15 over 1. So there's something here that we're noticing here. I've got 15 here, and also I've got 15 here. So now I've done 1, 2, 3. The last point, let's see the last point. Another Y over X, this is the last point, guys, which is 4 is to 60. Okay, that one is bad. Let's try to get it properly. All right. So we have 60 divided by 4. And this gives us 15. How many 4s in 6? There are 15. So how many 4s in 4? It's 1. So we notice something here, that For all of this, I'm getting 15. So I can simply say that the constant of proportionality here is 15, all right? So the constant of proportionality here is 15. So this is my answer. All right. So remember here, I divided everything, just to recap on this question, here I divided by 2, divided everything by 2. And here, let me use a different pen quickly, just in case you are trying to figure out what was happening here. So here as I said, I divided by 2. And for this one here, I divided everything by 3. Okay, and here I divided everything by 4. Right? I divided everything by 4 here. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 6 divided by 4 is 15. So just to give you an idea of where I get all these answers and how do I get it. Here, obviously, because the denominator is 1, so I divided everything by 1. All right? This is how we get, remember, this is 15. Yeah, it's 15, not 75, 15. All right, let's try to move on to the next one. And the cost per slice of pizza is proportional to the number of slices as shown in this graph. So here it's about explanation. You have to explain what do these points represent, okay? So now we look at 0 is to 0. So this point here, we want to know what does it mean? So we know that here we have the total cost, which is represented by the y coordinates, and we got a number of slice of pizzas, okay, which is represented by your x coordinate. So let me just, so if you can say 0 is to 0, so for every 0 slice, okay, it will cost us $0. So that's what simply means. So this means that for every 0, it means that 0 slice cost $0. Okay, it costs $0. Okay, 0 slice cost $0. So let's look at the next one. This is 1 is to 1. So for 1 is to 1, sorry, 1 is to 2 means that for every 1 slice, it will cost $2. Okay, for every 1 slice, it will cost $2. So for every 0 slice, it will cost $0. I hope this makes sense. So this is all what they're looking for in this question, nothing much. All right, how did I get this answer? I can see from the graph as well. You see, for every 1, this is my 1, it cost 2. So it's like this here. Okay. I hope that makes sense. And let's move on to the next one. Now, another interesting question here. So now we're going to write the excuse me. So we're going to look at now the equations to represent when I look at equations that represent proportional relationship. Okay. So the first one says here, leave. Sometimes they write many stories just to confuse you. I don't know. Yeah. So we got leave earns about 9.50 for every 2 bracelets that she sells. But once you are given an equation, your life becomes much easier. Okay. It says the equation is y equal to 4.75x, where x represents the number of bracelets and y represents the number of cost. Okay. In dollars and is represented in this situation. Now, they want to know what is the proportional or rather the constant of proportionality. Okay. And what does the constant of proportionality represent? So you have to give them 2 answers. Okay. What is the constant of proportionality and what it costs? So firstly, I will say just take the equation, and the equation here is y equal to 4.75x. That is the equation. So just forget about this 9.50 and all of that. Just go straight to the equation. And to your equation, I'll tell you which number you need to look for. Okay. So on your equation, remember we have something, remember we spoke about K before. K is your constant of proportionality. So it's written like this. K K is equal to y over x. But if I want to write it as an equation, now I want to make K a subject of the formula. So we have something like this, guys. K is equal to y over x. But if I want to make this K a subject of the formula, I will have something like this. Or rather, if I want to make y a subject of the formula, now I want to make an equation, I can say that I can do cross multiplication like this. All right. So now I know that y is equal to kx. Now, what does k represent? K represents your constant of proportionality, right? This is your k. Whenever you see a word constant of proportionality, remember they talk about k. So if I'm in this equation and I want to find k, I can just say y is equal to kx. So which is my k here in this one here? So I can see that this is k. So if this is k, it means that this number here is my k. So I can simply then say that the constant of proportionality here is, so k is equal to 4.75. Remember, k is constant of proportionality, all right? So what does it mean? It means that leave. So now I'm answering I've answered the A part of the question. Now I want to answer the second part of the question. So it means that leave, okay, ends $4.75 for each bracelet. Okay, for each bracelet she sells. Okay, so this is the meaning. So I've answered the first part of the question for K, which is constant of proportionality. K is equal to 475. And now the next part was, what does this represent? In other words, what does this 4.75 represent? It represented leave and $4.75 for each bracelet. I hope that makes sense. And let's move on to, just want to make sure that I'm still recording just in case. Yes, it's still recording. Okay. Now we have another set of questions like these, which are also interesting. Here it says Lincoln bought 3 bottles of energy drinks for 450. Now, in this question, they wanted to write an equation. So the equation is not written for us here. So they wanted to write an equation, but they're saying something interesting here, that the total cost is your Y, and your energy drinks, which are your bottles, is X. So first, we can now find the constant of proportionality. That's very important. So find K first. So remember, my formula for K is K equal to Y over X. So which is my Y here? My Y is the cost. Remember, they told us the Y is cost. So this is my Y here. And my X is my bottles, or rather these energy drinks. So this is my X. They already told me on the statement, so that's why I'm writing that. So I can say here that Y is equal to 4. Remember, they said Y. Let me just so that you remember Y. This is your cost, and these are your drinks. Okay, so that you don't get confused. Why am I choosing these? Because they told me in the understatement. Okay, so this is 450 divided by 3. Okay, just write it clear here. Y over X. So my Y is 450 divided by X, which is my drinks, and which is 3. So you just divide. Now you ask yourself, how many, threes in 450? So here we have 150. Okay, so yeah, 150. So you can see that the constant of proportionality is 150. Let me just show you something here. This is my K. So we know that K now is 150. Remember, we spoke about this one here. Whereby we say that if I want now to find the equation, I have to say y equal to, this is the formula now to find the equation, k x. This is what we said, right? Y is equal to kx. And guys, we already have our k. We already have k. We just discovered what is k. So we said that k is 150 here. So since we said that k is 150, I can write my k here as 150. You can even say 1.5. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. You don't worry about it. 150 or 1.5, it's the same thing. So now you can say now that y is equal to 150x. Now, this is your equation, right? Did they ask us for a meaning? They did not ask us, but this simply means that 1.5 times the number of drinks equals to the total cost of y. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This question is almost similar. As I've said, I'm not going to do questions which are similar because we have a lot of questions. So, but just so you remember, this could be your y and this will be your x. And then you do exactly what I did on the previous example there. So I'm not going to do that one, guys. It's the same thing. Similar to this one here, where we see these loaves, of bread. So again, we are seeing something similar here. And they even told us that water represents your y and the x, your loaves. So you'll probably have something like this, your y over x. So remember now, this would be your y, and this would be your x. Okay, and then you find your k. So basically you'll have like 7 over, let me just quickly show you something here. So you'll have like 7 over 4. And once you have that, this now is your k, and then your k is 7 over 4. Therefore, your y will be equal to 7 over 4x, and that's it, right? That should be your answer. That's the equation, because they think what equation can be used to model this. Okay, very important to identify which is y, which is x first. Let's look at this one here, Mrs. Anderson. It's the same thing again. Here, perhaps here maybe what we can do, because it's just a matter of algebra, think there's something different here, which I think we need to take note of. I think even in this one here, there's something interesting here. Maybe let me go back to this question. After we have written this, they are asking us, how many cups of water do you need for 6 loaves? Very important part of the question. Now I have my equation, right? I've written my equation. So what I'm going to do here, I will then going to look at this number here, this 6 loaves. How am I going to use it? So I will now going to say my equation, which is y equal to 7/4x. Remember that loaves represents x. So again, I'm seeing loaves here. So meaning that these loaves, they are my other x. So it's going to be y equal to 7/4. I can just write here that x there is equal to 6, because those are loaves, 6 loaves. Okay, because it represents x represents your loaves. So that's very important. So that's why now I'm going to multiply everything by 6. Right? So now you can just multiply this. So you can just say 7 multiplied by 6. So we have ways of doing multiplication with the guys. If you're not sure, you can, I want to just do 7 multiply. Let me use a different color so that it's clear. I've been showing you guys how to do expansion method. I hope you still remember it. So we have 7. I'm going to expand 6. I'm going to say 3, I think, yeah, times 3. And 7 times 3 will give us 21 plus another 21. So this will give us 42, right? So now it's easy. We know that now 7 times 6 is 42. Okay. Make this one here over 1 to make your life easy when you're doing this multiplication. So we have 42 divided by 4. Okay. And again, this can be simplified. So we can just ask ourselves how many 4s goes into how many 4 go into. Okay, let me just expand again here to make it easy for you. Because remember, you'll not be using calculators. So we have 40 plus 2. So you divide this by 4 and you divide this by 4. 40 divided by how many 4 goes into 4 one time, and then you just bring down the 0 there. How many this is same as, like 2 divided by 2 would be 1, and how many 2 goes into 4 would be 2. So this is same as 1/2, right? How did I find the last answer there? Just to give you some graphics, so this is same. We said we just simplify this one here. I just simplify this by 2 divided by 2 divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's how we got this answer. So this is our final answer. Okay, so she will need 10 and 1 over 2 cups. Okay, 10 and 1 over 2 cups. All right. So I'm not going to do number 6, but now I can go to the next one, which is now use proportionality or use proportional relation to find the amount of tax charged in these items. Okay. So let's try to see here they talk about tax. Okay. Let's see how can we find this one here. Here we go. So this one here, we are going to use proportional relationship. So I'm going to say, because I'm talking about tax, I'm going to use T. We'll say T over 18 equal to 7 over 100. Why 7 over 100? Every time you see this, remember this is same as equal to 100. Okay? So, and then I will cross multiply. Okay? I can just cross multiply these two, and multiply those two there. Okay? Now, T times 100, so I'm saying T multiplied by 100. This is equal to 100T equal to 18 times 7. Now we have 18 multiplied by 7. Let's do some notes here, little notes here on top. So we have 18, which is 10, plus 8, sorry, plus 8. Now I'm going to multiply these two. So I'm going to multiply by them 7 plus. Again, 8 can be a bit heavy for some boys. So we can simplify, we can also expand 8, whereby we can say this is 4 plus 4. Then we multiply this by 7. Now it's much easier, I believe. So 7 times 1 is 7, and then you just bring down the 0 there, which is 70, right? And now you're looking for this 8. So we already know that 8 is 4 plus 4. Now, we all know what is 7 times 2, which is 14. So if we have to say 4 times 7, so this will be 28, because this is double. So this is now 28 plus another 28 here. So we can just add this to 28 plus 28. So now we should know the answer here. Now you just add this. So 8 plus 8 will give us 16, carry 1, and 4 plus 1 is 56. So we have here 56. Remember, this was times 7. So now we know that 7 times 8 is 56. Now we go back to our question here. So we have 100 T equal to, now we need to add those two, right? We need to add those two, guys. I think I'm gonna run off. I might run out of space here. Okay, we have 70 plus 56. So this is 6, and 7 plus 5, that will be 12, right? So now we have 126. So this is going to be 126. Okay. So we know that we just added this 70 plus 56, and it gave us 126. So we know that now 18 times 7 is equal to 126. Yeah, so now we are going to divide everything by 100. Okay, we're going to divide everything by 100. Okay, so let's divide everything by 100. I'm going to say 100 on both sides with my t here, which is 126 divided by 100. Now, the trick here is this will cancel off, and my t, because I'm dividing by 100, I must have two numbers after the decimal point. So I'll just write to 1, put a decimal point, and two numbers, which is 2 and 6. And that's it. So this is not the final answer, of course. Once we have done this, we always want to know what is the total cost. For total cost, if it's text, we're going to add. So we're going to say 18. Be careful. You see how I'm writing my 18? Plus 1.26. Then I'm going to write my answer here. This is 6. This is 2, the decimal point, and my 9. So the answer is $19.26, right? Everything is in dollars in this question. So that is how you will do these questions. Almost the same thing for number 2. You'll do the same thing for number 2 and same thing for number 3. Maybe we can do number 3 because it's got some commas. Just in case some boys fail to do that one there. I wish I had more space for this one here, but let's try it and see how far we can go. Right? I will stop this. Okay, it's still 52. Once it says 1 hour, I will stop it, and then we'll do part 2. All right, let's see. All right. So here I'm doing this one here, number 3. I will need more space, guys. I will need more space for this question here. I don't have enough space here. So you'll start by saying T over. Now, when I'm doing this, notice I'm not worried about the decimals. I'm just writing the numbers equal to 5 over 100. So it's the same process. And then I cross multiply. All right. So then I cross multiply as usual. Okay. So again, here I'm going to multiply T times 100, which is 100T. I showed you already how do we do that on the previous example. So this is going to be 100T. Now, these numbers are big, are huge numbers, right? So we need to say 499 5 multiplied by 5. So that's a big number. So let's try to see how we can find the answer for that one. So I'm going to just try to get this here on another page because I don't have enough space, guys. Here, I won't lie to you. So let's see. I'm gonna try to grab this to this other page because all right, let's do it here on this whiteboard. Okay. Okay, we'll do it on the whiteboard here because there's no space there. So, right. So let's do it on this whiteboard so that we can see. I want to take you step by step so that you when you are studying, we are doing this alone, you are able to see it yourself what is happening. Okay. This is what I'm talking about, this question here. So now let's look at how can we multiply those two. I like to expand. So here we have 4,000 plus 900 plus 90 plus 5. So I'm expanding everything, guys. So I'm going to multiply everything by 5. I'm multiplying everything by 5. I'm multiplying everything by 5. Okay. Now let's see what I'm going to get. What is 5 times 4? It's going to give us 20. And then I'm going to bring down all these zeros, which is 1, 2, 3, plus 5 times 9 is going to give us 45. And I'm going to bring down those zeros there. And another 5 times 9 is going to give us another 45. Right? And I bring down that 0 there. And 5 times 5 is going to give us 25. Remember, every time you're not sure, you expand. Now let's add all of this together. We have 20,000. We're adding everything together. 4,000. Look at how I'm aligning with the numbers. 4,500 plus 450 plus 25. Now I'm going to add everything. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 5 plus 5. So I'm just, those are, and then here I have 7. And here 0 plus 5 plus that's, I've got 9. 0 and 4, so that's 4. And now I'm left with only that 2 there. So this is, I've got this big number, 24,975. Okay, so I'm going to bring it here now. Remember here, this was 100 T, and now I have 24,975, or you can just say 24975. And I'm going to divide everything by 100. Divide everything by 100. All right. Now, there's one thing which I must not forget. It was initially, the question was 49.95, meaning that there were 2 numbers after the decimal point. So here, I must have 2 numbers after the decimal point. Hey, that one is very crucial, guys, because it's easy to forget. So I'm going to put it here, right? Because if you forget that, the whole thing will be wrong. Where do I get this decimal point from? from the question itself, from this question. So that's why I'm putting it there. And we know the rules of math. So you cancel this, I'm left with T here. And because I have 2 zeros here, I'm dividing by 100. So it means I'm going to move left. I'm going to move my decimal point to the left. So if I'm having 249.75 and I'm moving to the left 2 times, it will be 1, 2, meaning that I'm left with 2.975. Okay. I was looking for that eraser. I don't know where it is here. Oh, I got it. Okay. 475. But remember now, according to our question here, they were saying our answer must be rounded off to the nearest cent. That's very important as well. So we need to now to round off this 249. Okay. So this is going to change. And if it changes, it will be 2.50 because this number is more than Hamsa. So it will change this 4 to be 5. So we have something like this, 2.50. And what do you do now? You're going to add. So now you're going to take 49.95 plus 250. Then we're going to see how much we're going to get altogether. This is 0. Sorry, this is 5. 0 plus this is 5. And this is 14. Carry 1, 11. Put my point there. 11 plus 1 is 2. And my final answer is 42. Sorry, not 42. Remember, it was 11 there. So my final answer would be $52.45. So this will be the total cost of this pair of shoes. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to stop this one here, this video, and we will try then to do part 2 of it.